Hey YouTube, what's going on? John again. New week's upon us, and why not start off the new week with a new batch of Laserdisc Pickups? Everything I'm going to show you guys, this was all from Craigslist, eBay, and Laserdisc Forever Facebook page. So let's get started. Alright, first movie we got. Never actually seen this one before. Ice Station Zebra. Be brutally honest with you guys, only reason I picked this up is because I'm a big Howard Hughes fan. And this was the movie that he watched consistently in a loop while he was living in the hotel going insanely crazy. So, I gotta watch the movie that he went nuts with. So, there we go. Next one, another one I've never seen before. The Eiger Sanction. Picked this one up just because it's a Clint Eastwood movie, and there's a good reference from Boondock Saints 2 in here, so had to pick it up just for the reference. Alright, next up, this one I'm going to show you. This was a replacement disc. I know what you did last summer. Got this one because I do have this on Laserdisc already, but my copy has a chip on the edge, so I don't want to play that one. Ended up picking this one up off Craigslist ad. Played it back, no laser rot, no nothing. Disc is in mint condition, plays it back perfectly fine. Next up, we got an 80s cheeseball classic for you. Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Running Man. Pretty much, I'd say midway through his filmography. It's just a middling movie, but still, it's an entertaining watch. I enjoy it. Alright, next up, John Carpenter's second best work, Escape from New York. One of my all-time favorite action movies. Made Kurt Russell a household name. Just a great movie in general. Beautiful Laserdisc. Got this one off Craigslist. Finally glad to have this one in the collection. Next up, another 80s classic. We have Red Dawn. Everyone knows how good this movie is. I've got it on Blu-ray. Finally got it on Laserdisc. That's about it. Next up, I know I said Highlander 2 is one of the worst movies ever made, but I actually had to get this one. Highlander 2 Renegade version. I actually like the re-edit they did with this one. I guess the saying does ring true. You actually can polish a turd sometimes. Anyway, now we got a couple of late ones. We have American Graffiti Signature Collection. Great movie. Early George Lucas. Early Francis Ford Coppola. I love this release. Very good picture and sound quality. You know, good 2-channel lossless soundtrack. Just a great disc to have in anyone's collection. Now, next one up, this was one of my holy grail chase downs. Been tracking this one for a long time. Finally got it really, really cheap. We have Star Trek Insurrection. Not the greatest Star Trek movie ever made, but you know what? People will actually say that they prefer Nemesis to Insurrection. I actually am in the different camp. I think Star Trek Nemesis is very boring, very long and drawn out. This movie is just a nice, short action movie, and I've always liked it. So, finally glad to have it. So this actually gives it my Star Trek on Laserdisc collection. It's now complete. So that's finally over and done with. Alright, next up, got one that's never actually been released on DVD before. Got Jimmy Buffett Live by the Bay. Pretty good concert. I saw this on VHS back in the day. This was actually part of the Craigslist ad. So had to finally pick this one up. Sounds really good in my home theater. So there you go. Alright, next up now, we got my lone half-price books find, but it's actually a pretty good one. Got The Fisher King. Never seen this one before, but after Robin Williams died, I've been doing some research on this movie, and it sounded really good, so finally found it at half-price books, only $4. Picked it up, 2-disc Criterion. Checked it out. Looks pretty decent. I'll watch it later in life, so there we go. Alright, next up, now we're getting right to the end, so we got 3 of the best Criterion releases coming out. We have RoboCop. This is the first edition. 2-disc pressing, CAV edition. Beautiful picture and sound quality. One of my favorite 80s movies. Just one of my favorite movies in general. Been trying to get this Laserdisc for a while. Finally got this one. Next up, we got... This is Spinal Tap. One of the funniest movies that ever came out of the 1980s. Still a classic to this day. Finally got this one on Criterion. I've been wanting this one for the original commentary track. And also... Actually got the original guitar pick still affixed to the disc. So, you know what? Believe it or not, $5 pickup. So, very glad to have this one. And here we go. Another one of my grails that I've been chasing down. Finally got it for $5. John Carpenter's Halloween. Still my favorite John Carpenter film. One of my top 10 favorite films of all time. My second favorite horror movie of all time, right behind The Exorcist. And this is my favorite franchise horror film. I have everything Halloween in my collection. This was the only thing that's eluded me. I finally have it. I checked it out yesterday. It's a beautiful transfer. This is just the pinnacle of Laserdisc perfection right there. Alright, I'm going to pause it for a second. And we're back. All right. Got this one off the Laserdisc Forever Facebook page. Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry collection. Great collection. All the films in widescreen, minus the Deadpool. I had someone try to tell me, oh, this set sucks because the Deadpool isn't in widescreen. Well, here's a little trivia for you guys. The Deadpool, actually, the reason it's not in widescreen is because out of all 5 movies, the Deadpool was shot open matte full frame. They shot it with a full frame / widescreen composition in mind. So by this being in full frame, you actually don't lose any picture quality. Glad to have this one in the collection. Transfers are all really good. Got it for a really good price off a Laserdisc Forever Facebook member, so thanks a lot for that one. All right, next up, these are the last of my Craigslist pickups. Got Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Deluxe Widescreen Presentation Collector's Edition. I actually did own this disc at one point in time, but I traded it for what I thought I was getting, a RF demodulator. Turns out the one that I ended up trading for wasn't compatible with my system. Needless to say, I was kind of mad that I lost this disc to it, so finally got this one back in the collection. This is a late release. It has a beautiful THX transfer. It has a great AC3 soundtrack. The documentary on this thing is very informative. I know it carried over to the Blu-ray, but I've been wanting this back on Laserdisc for quite some time. Finally glad to have it. All right, next one up. Another Criterion. Partially late release, but still one of my favorite movies from the 90s. The Rock. Me and my dad actually saw this in the theater back in 1996. Just, you know what? Say what you will about Michael Bay. This is still the best thing he's ever done. It has a great story, terrific action, great acting, even by Nicolas Cage. So, you know what? Very good movie. Finally glad to have this one in the collection. Next up, we have probably one of the prettiest releases that Pioneer ever did. We have the Platoon Widescreen Special Edition. Pretty much just, you know what, this is one of my favorite war films. I'm not too big into war movies, but I've always been impartial to anything from World War II or Vietnam, especially Vietnam movies. I don't know why, but, you know, next to Apocalypse Now, this is probably one of the best war movies ever made. Probably, you know, it's like my second favorite Vietnam movie next to Apocalypse Now. I love this special edition. It has a ton of bonus material. The way this book looks, you know, it's a very beautiful set. Got this one for like $10. Was very glad to pick it up. Now, last but not least, and any true Laserdisc fan knows that this is worth tracking down for one reason and one reason only. We've got the E.T. Extraterrestrial Special Widescreen Signature Collection. This one, I'm not going to open it up, but it's actually, I got this off the Craigslist ad. This is complete. Disc 4 is still sealed, along with the original soundtrack, which is still sealed as well. As everyone knows, a lot of this stuff did carry over to the Blu-ray, but there's one reason that this set is so sought after, because it actually has a deleted scene with Harrison Ford playing Elliot's teacher. So, on that note, guys, thanks for checking out my video. Hopefully you guys get a kick out of this stuff. I keep talking about doing an A to Z. One of these days I'll do it, but, you know, such is life. I'm always busy, so we'll see what happens. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.